Bugs, beef.
Battlestar Galactica.
Welcome back to Reputation at Stake. Are bugs a good source of food?
It does sound like it is, but...
Because I've got some recipes.
Oh, boy. No. So a lot of speculators are saying that by 2050, that a lot of us will be eating bugs as a main source of food. And that seems really bizarre. Let's think...
All I can think of is this year's going to be the year for cicadas. And I know there are people who go out there and they cook them, they have recipes, and they put them in restaurants, and they are so nasty, and they go splat all over your car when you're driving down the road. And I just don't see that as a meat source.
No. So Dr. Eric Berg has put out a really good video on this topic of us eating bugs instead of beef, instead of like all the other things, even everything, not just beef.
Chicken and everything. Yeah, meat source, protein.
Right. And I found it very interesting, and I wanted to share it with Pepper and just do a little reaction video to kind of see what she's thinking about it. So let's go ahead and get into this.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Now, someone had a question on one of my comments relating to bugs, because
a recent report says insects are the future of food.
Bugs for dinner?
Eating insects?
they want us to all eat bugs by 2050 because of the rise of population. Will be roughly about maybe 9 billion people on this planet, so how are we going to feed them? I mean, everyone knows this fact because...
So it's overpopulation. That's
to eat bugs.
That's what they're trying to focus on.
But it's just based on an estimate.
Right.
Real quick, all I want to say is many things. First off, I don't foresee the world being overpopulated ever. The world was created to hold a significant amount of people. As many people as the grains of sand is what Abraham's generation should be, like innumerable, right? First off. Second off, we have a lot of different factors in play, like the government making people infertile, people just being infertile by nature. What is it? 1 in every 2 pregnancies ends in a miscarriage. Like there's so many things. And then we have people who never marry, never procreate, people who cannot produce children, getting together and living out their entire lives that way. You know, there's so many different things happening.
And abortion, a lot of people are.
Yeah.
It's a big topic.
Yeah. So I don't foresee yes, we are increasing rapidly, which is amazing, but I don't foresee us getting to the point we can't feed ourselves.
Right. Yeah, overpopulation. I heard someone say that, like Russia, because they're sending all their men to war, they're going to be out of commission, and it's just a matter of time. It was somebody on Joe Rogan was talking about that. I forgot.
Yeah, I don't. So first off, they're wrong right off the bat. That whoever the powers that be that have done this research are saying there's going to be so many people, there'll be no food, and we're going to have to resort to eating bugs. I think you're wrong.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Space bar.
Because the climate change and beef is not sustainable, we need to find other sources of
Let's go to that.
food.
Meat is
I
not
like
sustainable.
to say my life's mission is to breathe.
Meat is not sustainable. Come on, guys. We've been eating meat from the beginning of time. So for the last 6,000 years when the earth was created, okay, in the Garden of Eden, we probably were not eating, Adam and Eve were not eating meat. They were eating fruit or vegetables or whatever God gave them to eat. They were eating that. And then when sin entered the world, we had to start killing animals. So from that point on, from day 7 till sin, and then from sin till now, we have miraculously been eating meat for the last 6,000 years. All of us have been eating some form of meat, mostly, right?
Yeah.
Predominantly, it's been meat up till the last 60 years. So for 6,000 years, if we have figured out how to eat meat with technology and learning and researching, I really don't see that as a problem. I mean, cows eat grass. My lawn's covered in grass. Just saying.
Just saying.
Just saying. All right. Oh, you want me to?
A bug. that tastes like bacon.
And yes, they even say
Bugs do not taste like bacon.
the grass-fed regenerative farming type agriculture needs to go because of all the cow burping and the methane and what that does to the environment, because that's the big problem. And one of the big solutions would be the bugs, because they're so high in protein and they're so nutrient dense. Well, let's do a little breakdown of this topic, because if we take 100 grams of these bugs, in this 100 grams, we have about 12 grams of actual protein. And there's about 5 grams of fat, 5 grams of carbs, a little iron, a little tiny bit of fat. But is 12 grams enough for our bodies?
No, it's not enough. Okay, and first of all, 100 grams of crickets. Okay, so cricket powder on Amazon is what I'm comparing this to. But 100 grams of cricket powder is 900 to 1,000 crickets. You're killing off these little tiny creatures by the thousands just so that you can get your 12 protein grams. I don't even know how many proteins are in a quarter pound of beef, but let's just compare quarter pound to quarter pound. So you get a quarter pound of beef, you get a quarter pound of crickets. The beef, we still have several more meals we can eat off of the cow, whereas we've already killed 900 little bodies, and it does not taste like bacon.
No.
So that's a lot of crickets you need to consume. And currently, crickets on Amazon are $44 for a quarter pound of cricket powder. So that's going to make a very expensive diet.
Wow.
So.
Actually, no. If we do the math and look at the actual number of crickets that we're going to have to eat to get close to this protein, we're going to have to 4x that. That's a nice big bucket of crickets.
So that's a pound of crickets a day, is what he's saying. Just so that, so they're saying 4 times 12 is 48.
Yeah.
So just to survive, according to whoever decided this, the RDA recommended daily
Allowance. RDA, yeah.
RDA. They're saying you need about 48 grams of protein just to survive. That's not to thrive. If you want to thrive, you probably need a lot more.
Yeah.
So we'll get into that too. But yeah, so now we're up to what, 4,000 crickets per day that need to die so that we can just survive with our 9 billion or million? 9 billion.
9 billion.
9 billion people on this earth. So 9 times 4.
X.
We're just getting a huge number, folks. So I really don't.
It's not looking good.
Someone's been on the wacky backy that came up with this idea. I mean, to be fair, bugs have been eaten in cultures around the world.
Yeah.
I know.
Certain ones especially.
Right, like anytime you see anything from the street markets of like China and Thailand, you always see like the crickets and the grasshoppers, and they're well seasoned. And so to be fair, it is a cultural thing. I guarantee you, if I'm out in the wilderness and I am lost and there's no sign of any hope of me coming out of there, I will eat whatever it takes to live.
Yeah.
So I fully support eating bugs in emergency situation, or if it's your culture, that's amazing.
Right.
But to switch from beef to bugs, I mean, we're only a minute into the video. I'm like, red flags everywhere. All right.
Yeah. Can you feed the entire world on those bugs? I mean, this is about the practical, logistical side. It's not just can someone eat a bug, right?
Right.
And that's what we're finding here is that he's going to go into. There's a couple of things that they didn't bring up when they say, oh, everyone's going to eat bugs and they're going to like it.
Kind of like California with the electric cars. Everyone needs to charge their car.
Yeah.
But they can't even support everyone to have AC and heat.
Right. Like everybody's got to get an electric car to help the environment, but you can't drive it because you can't charge it.
Right.
Anyway, let's get into this.
Rabbit trail.
But for a lot of people, they're going to need to 8 times that figure every single day to get their protein amount. I guess we can mash them up and put them into pizzas, and with all these other different flavorings, we can put them in burgers, sweeten them, and that might be a solution. But what about the cost? It's going to be quite expensive, right? But they can bring the cost down by feeding the crickets cheaper materials like maybe corn, soy, beet sugar, something like that. The problem with that is the nutrition comes down, and then the protein level comes down, and that's one little issue. Quite expensive to have healthy insects.
I mean, already, it's not in high demand, so I get it. But $44 for a quarter pound. You need a pound a day. So let's just say it's $50. That's $200 per day to eat bugs. Versus $3.99 a pound. You can still find beef in different places. You know what I mean?
And that's protein because cows give you fat, which carnivore could almost be called the fat diet because
Right.
you're eating so much, you're shifting your energy from carbs to fat.
Right.
So do bugs really have a lot of, maybe I don't know, maybe they do, but
He said carbs, protein. I forget, but I don't know.
there's an enormous amount of fat that's delicious and your body uses it on ribeye,
Yeah.
on carnivore. And if you were to give me a plate full of bugs and said, here's your daily allowance.
How about if I make it look like a steak? Like I get it in a steak-like shape and put some red food dye on it and make it look red? Would you?
It would help, but it's kind of like saying, in my mind, it's like, would you eat a turd if I made it look like a brownie?
Gross.
It's still gross.
I think I'd rather eat food cubes like you see in those sci-fi movies.
Yeah.
Just give me some food cubes. Don't tell me what they're made out of.
Oh,
Just to stay alive. You ready?
okay, yeah.
Insects to eat, okay? Number 2, we're going to have to get everyone to give up their traditional cultural
And that's what
foods,
you were just
and that
talking about.
might take some work.
I think that the first bite is the hardest. And then after that, people go, wow, that tastes pretty good.
Oh, the crunch.
Number 3, and this is probably the biggest one, when you compare
I mean, Fear Factor did almost its whole spiel about eating bugs. Remember, like they always had an episode where they had to eat something
Disgusting.
usually alive, which that's animal cruelty. I know,
Yeah.
so many stuff and things, but I can't even wrap my mind around it right now.
That's just the feel and touch and taste aspect. So that's just one factor is what's it gonna feel like in your mouth and taste and
Eating one bug is fine, but knowing that you're consuming, 8,000 bugs a day?
I don't even know.
That's more than the FDA allows that for spider legs and cereal and stuff.
Oh
right?
yeah.
an insect with beef, it's not the same. For anyone to say that it's identical, they're lying through their teeth. It's not even close. And I'm not just talking about the protein. I'm talking about the quality of protein. I'm talking about the nutrition, all these other factors that is in beef that is not in crickets. So don't buy into it's the same thing. Number 4, insects carry pathogens. So there's one study in 2019 that
How many pathogens does a cow carry?
I don't know.
I mean, to be fair, since we've had scientists and news media and all that kind of stuff, the only thing I can remember cows carrying was mad cow disease.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
And that was because farmers were grinding up the old cows and feeding them back to the living cows, which you don't really see many cows out in the field eating any other cow. I
Right.
mean, dead or alive, right? Like that should never happen. And then man forced that on the cows. So how many pathogens that transfer to humans do cows carry? I'm not aware of very many. I know like beaver and bear, when we watch those surviving shows, I know that certain wild animals can carry worse things.
Forgot the names, but I remember some
they
get
start with
sick
their
and
stuff,
they tap out of the show.
Well, they even just drink water that a beaver swam in. They can get that.
that's
Starts
right.
with a T or something.
Terrible.
But it's not like cows carry all
Pathogens,
these
like
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's bizarre. I'm kind of creeped out.
Yeah.
I just can't stop creeping my fingers out here.
evaluated quite a few cricket farms that were developing edible crickets, and 81% of them had parasites. 30% were potentially
81%.
pathogenic. There's also a higher incidence of worms in crickets, and viruses, and bacteria, and funguses. Then we have the safety studies, right? We have to do all that. Then we're going to have to probably heat and cook these insects to
So they're going to heat and cook these insects, grind them up, serve them to us, and probably wash them all in ammonia. And then our dead food will be deader than dead, and we're going to learn to survive on that.
It doesn't feel like your stomach is going to like this.
No. And, I don't know. I don't know.
kill off the microbes, but then we're also going to kill off a lot of the nutrition as well. There's this unregulated field of using pesticides on these insects. So you can use different chemicals to kind of manage some of these other factors that can be growing in these bugs. Then the next thing is that if someone has an allergy to shellfish, okay, because there's a similar protein involved, chances are they'll also have an allergy to bugs if they start consuming them. And then the next factor is that these bugs have this exoskeleton. It's like bones outside their body. And the main compound in there is called chitin. It's an anti-nutrient. It's not digested by our microbiome. And it also blocks vitamin A and vitamin E. And so this is just another
They're gonna be
negative.
wrinkly.
And so now we're doing another human pilot experiment that will put people in bugs and then see what happens after years. My viewpoint on the future of food being bugs does not look like it's going to happen. There are too many negative points about this. Now, if you want to know what I think you should be eating right now to regain your health.
Okay, yeah, and this is the point where he points to other videos that he provides that are I really enjoy his videos.
Yeah, they're well produced.
Yeah.
They're good color. They're informative.
I highly recommend that you should check him out after you finish with us. I mean, he's really good. When you get a chance, take a look at him. That's the end of it.
That's the end of it. To be fair, one thing he did touch on is the methane that cows burp. It's not even, I always thought it was the poop that was the problem with cows, because a lot of times people show like feedlots and there's like this huge poop pond.
Okay.
And because they feed the cows a horrendous diet, the poop's actually toxic and you can't spread it on fields. According to someone's research, methane is produced by all ruminants, so all cows, sheep, goats, buffalo, etc. And what happens is when it's released into, no, I don't even want to say that here. Methane is also broken down by a soil bacteria called methanotrophs, so named because they actually use the methane as a food source. So I believe that God created the earth. Mm-hmm. I believe that God created the cow. I believe that God created things that would take care of any bad byproducts from said cow. Okay, so God has already put into plan how to handle methane. So if the world did explode in growth, it probably wouldn't be that big of a problem. We could just, breed more cows. The earth knows how to take care of itself. Like it. When a forest fire rips through a forest, it regrows trees and bushes, and animals come back and habitate in there. Like the world isn't like one and done. Even different places where there's like concrete in cities and stuff, and then people have abandoned them, and then the earth kind of like grows around it. Like God has put into a perfect plan. He didn't put us on earth to burn us. He's not a mean kid with a magnifying glass to kill us and destroy us. That's not, okay, if you read Revelations, you do know the earth is going to end. But meanwhile, God put us onto earth to have a relationship with us, and it's not for us to sit and eat a bunch of bugs.
And to put it into perspective, there's nothing that we could do to stop what God has set in order. So in other words, he knew ahead of time what was going to happen. He knows the end from the beginning. Yeah. And in the end, there will be some really bad things that happen. One of which it does talk about, there will be the sun will be hot and people will be burning and they'll be yelling at God because the sun is hot. You can't stop that.
Right.
There's just no, I should find the verse. Maybe I should put it in the bottom. But none of us are going to be able to stop cars and burping and farting and all this stuff and then charging people money.
Well, if we're so worried about the environment, why don't we figure out how to plug up a volcano?
Right. There you go.
A volcano spews billions of pounds of carbon dioxide into the earth.
Right.
Billions of pounds.
And that's global warming.
Right?
Right. That's going to warm the earth because, billions compared to all the cities of the world in 1 year probably don't even compete with what one volcano does. And, and they're getting more active. There's more going on. So
basically, guys, don't let fear push you into some person's thought of an idealistic world where we're not killing cows.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, bottom line, we've been eating beef and meat for the last 6,000 years. Mm-hmm. And yes, there are some vegetables that you can throw in there and bread and, because God says, I am the bread of life. So I'm not saying that all that is bad, But what is produced and forced on us, I do believe can be, okay, we've talked about pink slime in your burger 2 weeks ago. We haven't even touched wheat and why we believe that our current wheat isn't good for us. You know, all the forced vitamins and riboflavins and all the stuff and things. So don't let fear force you into a path that you don't feel is good for your body.
We have experienced that carnivore is just given us so much vitality, and it's like we've cut out all the noise and a lot of the, I want to say, illnesses, poor health, the horrible feeling that comes with eating sugar, getting tired, getting sore, all the a lot of the bad stuff is gone now. And so we're not assuaged or deterred by someone talking about bugs because it's not practical. It's not possible. It doesn't make any sense is what I mean to say. It's not realistic to think that we're going to be all eating bugs instead of everything else, anything else. I mean, you know.
My brain's just going down that path of like bugs is like forcing bugs in mass amounts. Like I'm not talking about people who eat it culturally. I'm talking about mass amounts of bugs is one step away from Soylent Green.
Oh boy, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Before
Like
our time, there was a movie called Soylent Green.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I should link that. People probably don't even know what that is anymore. But
really, I probably don't even know all that it is, but it was a substance fed to people, right?
Right. It was a movie. It was at the very end of the movie. The guy who was playing the main hero, he played Ben-Hur or whatever. Charlton Heston, and he's being carried off. There's this famous scene, and I haven't watched the movie. I should, but there's this famous scene where they're carrying him off, and he yells out to the crowd, "Soylent Green is people."
Oh.
Because they were all eating Soylent Green to get healthy. And
I thought Soylent Green was like poop or something.
No, it was they're dead. Yeah. So the solution to this problem with eating bugs, the solution to the problem of overpopulation, not having enough food, is number one, don't be afraid. It doesn't help to live in fear and to worry. So we trust in God because He created it. We know it's going to work out. And we're all leaving anyway. We're only here for a little bit of time. Okay? And then secondly, support your local butcher by getting good beef. If you want healthy food, protein, eat beef. Now, people that are vegan, I don't know if they're watching this. I don't have a lot to say. I wish you the best. That if that's working for you, I'm not into that. But for those that are looking at carnivore, they're looking at keto.
Something that's meat heavy.
Meat-based diet.
Meat-based diet.
Don't be afraid. You're not going to get forced to eat bugs. If that's the case, we're in a lot of trouble. And I don't think bugs is the only problem.
Yeah.
I think that's like end of the world talk. So anyway, so don't be worried. Take a deep breath.
Fear not.
Fear not, and keep eating beef. So that's all I have for the week. Did you want to do a weekly update?
We can, yeah. How'd you do?
For me, I lost weight, gained weight, so that I am the same exact weight as I was at this time last week. I had a birthday party I went to. I had a lot of beef there, a lot of meat.
Yeah.
But it added.
It was Golden Corral, so there's not really pure options. And I think you did the best you could with
I did the best I could.
The options.
Right.
It's not like you went crazy, and you didn't even have dessert.
Didn't have dessert. Drank water. I had grilled chicken, meatloaf, roast, and some kind of seafood thing that they offered. So I tried to stay heavy meat, but and I had it last night, so all the gains.
Oh, so this morning when you were on the scale didn't show. But before, you had lost about 1.5 pounds?
About, I mean, you know.
That's good.
Yeah, it's close. But that's it.
Claim it. You can claim it.
Claim it? Win it. Okay, so what did you have for an update
Real quick, I just wanted to speak on, a couple weeks ago, you gave up drinking milk with the chocolate powder to help you sleep.
Right.
And your energy has been phenomenal. Like,
feels good.
Yeah. So if you're trying to do the meat diet and you're not 100% doing the meat diet, you might want to consider coming all the way on board, because just in 2 weeks of cutting out the monk fruit, Fisher's Energy has just been phenomenal. I mean, you've been getting a lot of stuff done without, like, you are really good at getting stuff done. But sometimes it was harder for you to get motivated to do those things.
Right.
And now it's just like, I'll walk in the kitchen, the dishes are done, and I'm like, who are you? You know,
Yeah, there's
it's just night and day.
There's like a sense of, I want to say urgency, but there's like this needs to get done. And so I hop to it and I'm like, let's go do it.
Yeah, like you're no longer putting it off. You just get it done.
Right, like a drive.
Yeah.
There's a drive to it. Whereas before, I would know to do it, and then I would just sit there.
Or you'd have to force yourself to do it too, and
Right.
it wasn't full of vim and vigor like it is now.
You have to like be angry in order to get the energy from the anger.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So-
that's not a way to live. But how about your update for the week?
Yeah, so I had one day where I lost like 4 pounds,
Okay.
and then put back on 2, and then I'm at the exact same weight as I was last week. So
Okay.
again, not losing weight. So my theory is, I think the meat we're getting from the butcher is pretty lean. So I think I need, when I have the meatloaf or something like that, I need more butter or bacon.
Okay.
And then I've been snacking on cheese when I just need that therapy of hand to mouth therapy.
Okay.
I've been eating cheese. So I think I'll stop that this week and see what happens next week. But,
Yeah, cheese
you
will
know,
do that.
I feel amazing. Like my pain's really going away and that kind of stuff. I don't know. Something dropped. Oh, the computer's dying.
Yeah.
We're just like full of dead batteries. But don't let yourself die.
Yeah.
Eat meat, fuel yourself.
Yes. Yes.
Find a local butcher. See if you can afford half a cow. Like, look into different ways and things. Don't be discouraged, and don't let fear overwhelm you into making bad decisions.
Right.
Thanks for watching. I hope you all have a great week. God bless.
God bless everybody. Take care.